I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Acacius.
There are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects, she must feed them.
They can eat war!
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, then gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
This is about survival! Survive! Hold together and when it charges, break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much.
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need to only give it a push.
We make it out alive. Alright. Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you. What is the dream of Rome? If our people are not free.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength and honor! This how Rome treats its heroes!
Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors. The gods have spoken!
Hi everyone, this is the Faithful Critic. Karibuni, my name is Doreen.
My name is Ashley.
Name's Steve.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about Gladiator 2. And before we begin, my two gladiators here have very strong opinions about this movie. So there's a part of the movie where the emperor does like a thumbs up and a thumbs down to kind of give mercy and like exert, I guess, revenge, quote unquote. So I'm going to ask them to give a thumbs up and a thumbs down for the movie before we start. Not to set your stage, nomjue their position.
Sure.
Yes. But mi yangu ni kama iko kwa degree. Haijafika but inatenda hapo.
Okay, sawa. Ahana yako Steve.
You know, okay.
Wait, completely.
Yes.
Completely.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So Mona, mi kwangu it's a thumbs up. I really enjoyed this movie. Yes, so I'm going to do a quick recap. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, we are doing a deep dive of Gladiator 2 and we are going to be discussing any Christian themes or any particular themes that we find interesting. So the movie begins, I'm sorry, I also like their names are Roman, na sisi wa Kenya. So niki mispronounce, yes, bear with us. Anyway, so the movie begins with a city that is like at the edge of kind of Europe, close to North Africa. And it's the last city that hasn't been conquered by Rome. So the General Acacius has been sent by the Roman emperors to go and conquer that city. And there, within that city, is where our lead character lives. So that's Paul Mescal. I can't remember his... Lucius. That's his name.
Hano. In the first part, they call him Hano before it's revealed he's Lucius.
Yes, yes. So that's where he lives with his wife partner. It's not actually made clear. But they're preparing because they know that there's this war that is coming. So Acacius comes with his army. Such a brutal scene. I loved it when I watched it in cinemas. It's intense, but I loved it.
Was it 3D?
No, it wasn't in 3D. Oh. It wasn't in 3D, but I loved it how the war happened. And we're going to talk about the war as we continue. But yeah, the city falls, but you can see Acacius is not entirely pleased when he hears people crying for their children. So he goes back to Rome. He picks the slaves, or rather, people who, some of the warriors who survived, they are picked and they're taken in as slaves to go and either work in Rome as gladiators or just as slave people doing other menial jobs, I'm guessing. But when Acacius goes back to Rome and he tells the emperors that, hey, we have been able to conquer this city, can I go back home now and rest? The emperors are like, no, we have to continue growing. Rome is big. Rome is an empire. It has to continue growing and growing and growing. So we see that these emperors are greedy and they have their greed cannot be satiated. Yeah, so he goes to, now we are on General Acacius' storyline. Several storylines will interact throughout the story. So he goes home, tells his wife, they have this concern and they're like, these emperors, no, tunawatoa. Au anaanza kupanga saidi yao. Haya, so now with our lead, Lucius, he's taken in as a slave, they're taken to, now the warriors are taken to like a small kind of mini battle where they try and see if they're going to be taken in as gladiators. He pleases now this new character played by Denzel, Maximus, that's his name, yes.
But I think we can call him Denzel for the rest of
the podcast. Yeah, so Denzel's character sees him. Even that fight scene, I thought it was epic. He basically ate a monkey.
Oh, those monkeys? What were those?
They're like hybrids of monkeys and dogs.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should watch the movie to see that.
Yeah. So he's able to fight, kill one of them off. One of his friends is actually killed during that fight. Denzel is like, this will make a fine specimen. So akamchukua, akamwambia, with you, I shall be able to enact. I don't know, there's a quote he says. I shall be able to like make whatever I want to make, or grow his power with Lucius as his gladiator. So now that's on Denzel's storyline. Denzel and Lucius kind of grow together as this weird friendship, slave owner, slave master, kind of slave and master relationship-ish, because he uses Lucius to fight in gladiator battles or in one-on-one fights with different people's other gladiators whom they own, places bets on him, and he wins all of them, and Denzel is able to rise in the ranks, and he's even able to steal someone's house. Not really steal, but, wager his way up with someone's house. So by the time he gets to the level of owning this person's house, the coup that is being plotted on this other side is kind of at its peak. Yeah? We're together. So then they kind of meet in a weird way because Acacius' wife from Gladiator 1 is a true kind of heir to the throne. And she had a child, and that child is Lucius. It's not yet revealed in the story, but they find it out. And therefore they want to ensure that when they make the coup, when the coup happens, basically everyone dies. And so even people in the gladiator halls will die. People will, like anyone who was in support of that existing regime will die. So they decide to want to save Lucius from dying when the coup happens. And in that process, Denzel finds out about the coup, goes and tells the actual emperors, and Acacia's is oft in a very dramatic way. It's too long to explain. And then he captures the wife, who is, what's her name? Let me just check. Lucilla, yes. Yeah. You actually remember them.
Yeah.
Yes. So he captures Lucilla. Now Denzel is basically at the right hand of the emperors because he's basically told them, hey, these guys walikuwa nataka kuwaua to take the throne. Haya. So once he's at that helm and he's that close with them, he's able to put a brother against a brother. So the emperors is not just one person. There are two. They are twins. They are brothers. And historically in Rome, there was actually an emperor or emperors that were like that. I found that out when I was researching if that is possible. And they did hate each other.
Oh.
So it checks out. So he's able to pit the brothers against each other, and one kills the other, one of the brothers, huyu anabaki. Now huyu is said to like have syphilis hadi kwa the brain, I guess.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
Like sisi ndo inaingia, nashikanisha. Because Denzel's character did say, the other brother said the disease that he has in his loins have also gone to his head.
Brain, yeah.
Okay,
It's an
I hadn't
STD.
gotten that. Yeah.
Yeah, so wow, this movie is long. I'm actually realizing it.
Yeah, it was actually like 2 hours,
as I
20
recap.
minutes. Thereabouts.
So now once the brother is killed, he goes to the Senate and he says, now I am the emperor, now the emperor who's still alive. And he chooses his pet monkey as his primary advisor. So everyone is like,
Well, he's mad.
Clearly. And Denzel seizes the opportunity. He comes in and says, we have people out there who are rising up against the Senate because you killed Maximus. Maximus, the general, was actually really beloved in Rome.
Acacias.
Oh, sorry, Acacias. Thank you. Acacias was actually really beloved in Rome. So you guys killed him. Everyone is revolting. Everyone is rioting. So Denzel comes into the Senate and says, I have the solution to this madness. I have the answer. And so he's able to basically manipulate the Senate to putting him as the actual official right-hand man, even if the monkey is there like for optics. Yeah. And so what happens next is Lucius also finds out about this long-winded plan for Denzel. And Denzel's actual goal in the end is just to cause chaos in Rome. That's his goal. He does not really want to be the emperor so that he can actually achieve anything. He just wants to see Rome crumble. And to be honest, I vibed with that. I really was supporting.
We'll discuss that motivation.
All his actions. I was like, yes, go, because Rome is a rotten like city. There's nothing that they are doing that's productive, quote unquote. We'll get there. Yeah. Yeah, but now Lucius still holds to the values that the mom had. So the mama has been captured at this point in the story. He's being held by Denzel's character Maximus, and Denzel's character's plan is to kill her because she's technically she is the rightful person on the throne to come in next.
No, I don't think she was, because I think they couldn't let women be the heir. So it was her son who was supposed to be.
So it was Lucius. Yeah. Okay, sawa. So they were trying to get Lucius out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
sawa.
even that's mentioned in Gladiator 1, because the father wanted her to be, or the father thought she would be such a great ruler, but then she was born a woman, so she couldn't be.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now Lucius, knowing that the mom is going to be killed, Rome is in chaos. A deranged man, even if he was a slave owner, is on the throne, and he basically used him to get there through different gladiator fights. He's like, no, I'm going to charge up all these gladiators who we are here. I think we can come together and actually make a name for ourselves. So it's for honor and
strength and honor.
To strengthen honor. That's what they say. And he charges them, and they basically are able to break all the like chains. It's actually pretty dramatic. They break the chains, they go in, break that entire Roman Colosseum as they charge to go and save their country, and even to save Lucilla, that's her name.
Yeah.
Lucilla from being killed. But yeah, Denzel is a maniac in this movie.
I'm scheming.
For no reason.
Shoots Lucilla. Lucilla dies.
Or kills the emperor.
Yes, kills the emperor.
Kills
Kills the emperor and then runs and calls the army, to the actual Roman army, to come to his backing. Meanwhile, there are other side characters who Lucius has, who are able to also call another form of another army somewhere else. You guys have watched Gladiator 1?
Yeah.
So you can explain that section, because I haven't watched 1.
No, but that one was just, those are the guys who are loyal to Acacius. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they were kind of coming against
each other. Yeah. So they meet at the entry point of the Roman gates, or rather like a major point next to the Roman gates. Those two armies, one with Denzel, the other one with Lucius. The two of them fight to the death. I actually did want Denzel to win. I'm sorry if you watched the movie.
You wanted?
Yeah,
you wanted Denzel to win.
Yeah, because Rome is horrid.
Oh, okay, so you're biased, but sour.
Goodness. Okay.
Yeah, because the themes that I thought Lucius was trying to sell, they can't be achieved, in my opinion. So Denzel dies. Sad. Yeah. Denzel dies. Lucius wins that battle, basically winning the fight. So his ideals is what is going to happen in Rome. And he's able to speak to like 10,000 army troops without a PA system, telling them strength and honor. Yeah. That is the recap of the movie.
Well done.
So thank you. Primary thoughts, aside from side...
Okay, the recap was...
No, actually... Oh, thank you. You do yours because you have a full thumbs down. Why a full thumbs down?
Okay, so let me just go first to... I have seen better scripted, better acted epic films that depict ancient Rome, I think. So I would just be like, watching this one, the plot... I don't know, the acting as well. It's not that it was a bad film. I'm just like, I had biases. Hey, there's been greater films that have been made from
and
that.
Even worse is Gladiator 1 was
much better than it's an awesome movie, you know?
Yeah, it actually won the Best Picture Oscar in 2000.
And you know, Gladiator 1 is like 3 hours long. It's like 2 hours, 50 minutes. But I felt like 2 was even longer than the first one.
Okay. I haven't watched 1.
So that one, that bias. 2, some of the plot points felt...
contrived.
Ni kama wana...
Wait. Contrived. Kwanza tu explain your contrived inamaanisha nini?
For the general viewer.
Please. For the... Come on,
actually,
Nanchi.
for us in this room.
For us too.
In this room. You're welcome. I've used a big word. So, naogopa niseme contrived alafu nipate nilitumia vibaya, hata niangalie.
Okay, na nilikubali nikana juu inamaanisha nini. Anyways, yeah, some of the plot points felt a bit...
Yes, actually.
Is it convoluted, contrived? The same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing where it doesn't feel like a natural flow of the story, but being forced so that the plot
Nikama
can
zimeshkanishwa, like puzzle pieces that don't fit
glue.
together.
Yes.
Like square pegs, round holes. Yeah.
The round hole, actually...
The guy...
Just because on your reference for the square peg and a round hole, if the round hole is big enough, the square peg would fit.
Oh my goodness.
Sawa. No, moving on swiftly because we've lost a viewer because of that.
Sorry.
But it's fine. Anyways. Yeah, so I was on the plot. Some things feel ni kama zimefixiwa hapo just for the sake of narrative. Yes, the hero gets his day. He ends up enacting vengeance on the person who killed his wife. It seems that was his only goal at the start. you know, alikuwa amejam juu this guy, that seemed as though it was his only mission. So all these other things when he's because now come up, they felt as though, okay, so he has a legend behind him as well. Okay, so he's all right. Now but it doesn't even seem like he knows to some extent. Nikaa hakuwa anataka hiyo story.
Yeah.
So
and then all of a sudden he changes and he accepts that
I care about Rome now. I care about Rome now. Yeah, when he was so even antagonistic, anti-Rome. Exactly. Hakuwa anataka hiyo story. He didn't want to be there. He was from another place. He identified with that place more. He was angry, basically, throughout the whole movie. And the only reason that he was angry is because his wife had been killed in war, or rather his love interest. Aliuliwa at the first scene in Nini. That person who ended the life or led to the ending of the life of his love interest hakuwa mtu mbaya apparently. And that we come to find out as the movie progresses, the Acacius guy.
Yeah, but also another issue is why was his bitterness only on Acacius and not the emperors?
Because Acacius is the one who called that arrow to like kill her specifically.
Yeah, because there's only the commander.
Because when she was shooting, it was so close to getting him in that epic battle scene. It was so close. So he just turned and then said, "Get her." And like basically everyone just turned and was like, "Chua," and everyone just the one. It was very specific.
Yeah, but regardless, he knows he's just following orders. So why would his vengeance only end with the general?
Okay, I was saying why I didn't like the movie.
Okay, sorry.
So plot, I've talked about some of the acting.
Plot is contrived, the acting.
I didn't like Denzel's character, I didn't like it. He's acted better in other films.
Yes, that's true.
That's true. So it's just like, first of all, he didn't seem as though he was in an ancient
film. He didn't even try. He didn't even try.
Look at his
personality.
You know. So believability is kidogo lost in some of the things that are happening. You're just...
Yeah, because you could hear everyone else is trying at least to have an English or a semi-European accent. And then him is just there being American and it's like, wait, what? It takes you out for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That part is true, I agree.
Yeah.
So overall, those are some of the reasons.
Wait, but how comes you're not mentioning the acting of the emperors themselves? It was so dramatic, so over the top. It was... What is going on?
Syphilis mefika kishwa. It's like a monkey as your... How is that even like... No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My reasons why, in addition to what he said, also the motivation of the villain.
But yours was like quarter, so there are some good points.
Yeah. Okay, I think there's some good points in the sense that like you're watching a gladiator movie, there are gladiator fights and they're interesting, and even though the arenas are also not very believable because there's one arena where there's like water and there are sharks, and this is like a gladiator arena. And I'm just like, okay, that's not very believable. How did they how did they bring in the sharks? How did they pump in that doesn't make sense.
Cinema.
In ancient Rome. So in the sense of, it's a gladiator movie. Did they achieve gladiator fight scenes? Tick, they did. And they were very creative with that. So that's why I'm not like, even though I'm not the target audience for sure for this movie, but I'm like, okay, at least they did that. But in addition to what he said, one, the motivation of the villain. I think we just have to get into that because honestly, the Denzel's character, Maximus, like his main motivation was just to end Rome. And to some extent, I can understand because his thing is he was brought into slavery in Rome and then he had to fight as
the emperor in one. Yeah,
exactly. The emperor in one, Marcus Aurelius. And he was a gladiator and he ended up like getting to freedom. And even to the point of, he was like second in command, or actually
becoming a
nobleman.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I see why, because he, I guess, hated Rome for where he'd been captured. But then he still had the opportunity to grow, even in his career as a gladiator master or something, which makes me think, then why do you want Rome so bad, gone so bad, if this is what has given you like your livelihood, the life that he now enjoys came from Rome itself. So his goal is basically, he doesn't even want the power, by the way. He didn't even want to become emperor. He just wanted there to be chaos. He just wanted the system that he had actually gone through, even the top, to end, which doesn't make any sense.
It does when you look at it from his perspective, because he sees this idealistic goal of getting a Rome where there is no greed, there is no
lust for power. Okay.
there's no lust for power, there is no corruption. It won't happen.
Okay.
And with how bad and how badly infested it was, especially with the two emperors that were there, just conquering cities for no reason. They already have so much wealth and they just want to accumulate more wealth. And then conquering cities is killing even more people. Yeah, I'm team, but ice all of them.
No, but it's not like he was against those evils of Rome.
He was against those evils of Rome.
No, his thing was...
Because
if he was, he should have been against the emperors and on the side of Lucius. Because Lucius didn't want such a Rome.
No, he wasn't on the side of Lucius because everyone praised that emperor. What was his name?
Oh, Marcus Aurelius.
Everyone praised Marcus Aurelius as if he was this great emperor, as if he was the one who was the spearheader of peace. He was the one who was to bring all this like idealistic change in Rome. And in the end, he still owned slaves. How did he get slaves? He went to war. He conquered other cities. It's just the same example.
It's the same thing. Fair enough. Because even like in Gladiator 1, he mentions the way he had been in power for 20 years and only 5 of them he hadn't been in war.
Yeah.
So fair enough. But then to be fair, he also did end the Gladiator thing for a period of time.
Well, that's one part.
Yeah. And
so many scripture references coming to my mind about like, well, I remember when we were doing the book of Ecclesiastes. And how people coming into authority and, kingdoms, when they rise, alafu ruler anakuwa pale, and then you think that that's what's going to actually cause an empire to stand or like a kingdom. And it's like, so it just kind of is taking me back to some of those themes. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, but now, let me just explain a bit about the dream or the motivation for Lucius. So Marcus Aurelius wanted the power to go back to the Senate. He didn't like the way the emperors are the ones who had all the power, who said everything. So he wanted power to go back to the people. And that was like the dream of Rome, which now wasn't achieved in his lifetime.
Yeah.
In one, basically, the goal, the plot is Maximus was supposed to be... Maximus was a gladiator. Now he's the father of Lucius. And Maximus now was supposed to enact that dream. It didn't happen in one. It was supposed to happen in one. In the end, it was supposed to happen. Still didn't happen in 2, which is, again, the reason why I have a problem with this movie, because I feel like it went nowhere. From 1, it went nowhere. It just set it up for the 3rd one, to be honest. There's nothing much that was different between 1 and
a 3rd
2.
one happened.
No, I'm thinking a 3rd one has to happen, because now they have to show the dream of Rome happening or something.
I don't know whether they show that. They leave that as a cliffhanger, because unless they just want to keep making
Gladiator films.
Yeah.
But the director is like super old. He's like 80 and he's Ridley Scott is the director, and I don't think he has ears, I'm sorry, to make another one.
Okay, if they do make another one, we'll definitely be reviewing it. But yeah, so, and then now 2, again, I felt like it didn't really move the plot any further. Okay, I said 1, the villain's motivation. 2, didn't move the plot. 3, the believability of the emperors. I did not understand how the emperors got to power. Like, you could understand, like, someone, like, through birthright, they became an heir. But where did these emperors come from? They didn't give us the backstory, 1. And then 2, they also felt like they were very immature and very, like, they weren't smart. Like, the way Denzel pins them against each other, they should have seen that coming, which makes me... Like, how did they even get to be in the highest positions in Rome without like having much going on, Yeah, so I think those 3 reasons for now are why I didn't like the movie. It wasn't too believable for me.
Yeah, I think you guys' reasons are valid, especially on the plot, which is something I've also had a lot of other reviewers and other people talk about it, say, where it basically redoes Gladiator 1 but worse, because now it has those contrived elements of the plot.
So has your thumb now moved a bit?
No, my thumb is still all the way
goodness.
up. I watched it, no, I can't mention the cinemas because we're not sponsored. But yes, it was fun watching it in the biggest screen with like the best sound and just seeing everything blow up in your face. I just enjoy the movie experience. I think that's where my bias is. Let me see.
Wait, but what did you mention what you actually liked about the movie?
What I liked about the movie. I I liked the scene, the scenes, the cinematography of the movie. So it's not as like lashes, let me say, where you get to actually soak in some of those scenes, because most of them are very fast moving. But when they have these big landscapes, like when they showed the city in the beginning, when they showed the army approaching the city they were going to conquer, I also loved some of the rooms in the palaces looked really nice, and also some of the rooms I don't know if it was the daughter. There's a time when Denzel got in to speak to one of the I think it's Lucilla. There's her. It's her. I think it's her quarters really looked really nice.
They were beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
So some of those sets were.
Personally, I
can we hear plot points on
on
what you liked? Because now you're just talking about how the movie looks.
I'm going there. I did actually like Denzel's performance. I did. Yeah, I honestly did.
Okay.
Because I think so now for me, those epic movies, because like you guys have mentioned, the performance of Denzel and the Emperors is a bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
Those three are in a different movie from Lucilla and Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Those ones are doing grounded, like, we are here on Earth, we're experiencing this in real time, everything. These ones are in a play, very wild, very big.
Yeah.
So for me, I like when I'm watching something that's epic, I feel like those ones kind of like share or show the story in a more grandiose way, especially in such grand scale movies, because everything has to just be over the top.
You metafuta lakini ni sawa.
Like,
but then you're seeing characters who are like that.
Like gladiators, people are fighting rhinos. There's no grounding there.
Okay, sawa. I see.
It just has to be as extreme and as big and
okay, there's something about men romanticizing
war.
Even ancient Rome, the Roman Empire. We like to think about the gladiators and even going back to Greece and the Spartans and all that, and the Persian kingdom. So we like to romanticize these films, or rather that history with grandiosity. So I get what you're saying. And in filmmaking, maybe you do need an element of that. But for some of us, we just want a good movie,
Like even that scene, when you said the Spartans, like that scene for this is Sparta, then he kicks him on.
Okay, that's too grandiose. It's very grandiose. I know, okay.
It needs that. I feel like those movies need that type of energy for me to enjoy them. So that's my little bias. So I preferred actually theirs. I felt like when I watched Pedro, because I watched Pedro is Acacias. Yeah, I've watched him in so many things, and I feel like he didn't really, because it wasn't as big and grandiose. I felt like he was just doing what he does in the other shows.
He's a righteous man.
Yeah. So I needed him to go a little bit insane, and also I have a suspicion some of his scenes were cut from the movie, because the amount of like how much he was on the promotion and just had like, I feel like he had like 6 minutes of screen time. So maybe some of his stuff was not actually in the final movie. Have I justified my
No, I still...
I'm a bado.
We still... Yeah. Okay, you were talking about the motivations of Denzel as well. Like, what did you like about that?
So I liked... like I've explained before, I do not think... so which is actually going to...
chaos thing.
Yeah, which is actually going to turn into... now discussing some of the themes. So we have a whole book of romance in the Bible. Romance is actually characterized very highly with the first chapter that says people were given over to themselves because of, like, God gave people over to their desires and their wild like whatever they wanted to do, because he tried to warn them. He showed himself to them and they did not listen. And so with that background in mind of that being not just the romance, but just it being how the earth is, for me sometimes, I just want to watch the world burn. And like for that movie, not like in context right now.
Okay.
for that movie. So
I have an idea for a film from what you just said there. Someone needs to it's a film. So Paul's story when he was a child in growing up in Rome. I don't know. I'd want to see some of that.
Yeah,
and
that's
some
true.
I don't know. Grandiose might not necessarily be there, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, just knowing that society was that rotten, seeing someone who is able to be like, I'm rotten, this society is rotten, there's no need for either of us to exist. We are going to strategize and ensure there's just ultimate chaos for everyone to die. Yeah, I vibed with that. I liked it.
I feel like, okay, it kind of makes sense. But then now, when he wasn't also thinking about himself, where would he end up after all that?
Yeah, there's no hope.
Also, that's it. Like, then what?
It's actually a good, a good discussion.
Like,
because
there's no afterthought to that. It seems so high, and now we are at the brink of chaos. Like, it's the end of the world or something. I don't know, Armageddon. I don't know if that's what he wants to bring.
Yeah.
Just chaos syndrome. People to just kill each other to the point of, I guess, annihilation. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that doesn't make sense to me for a villain. Like, I don't... Yeah, no, I can't. No, I still disagree. I feel like
people are more selfish than that.
Yeah, yeah, and the element of self-preservation. Like, where was the self-preservation for him? What was he going to do after? Okay, maybe let's not stop like talking about outside the bounds of the movie itself.
But that's still, I think we can still like just with that line of thought. Because in Christianity, even if we do acknowledge that the world is fallen, it doesn't end there. Like, God just doesn't say, okay, I am holy and I'm going to destroy everyone. Basically, he will eventually, but he does still give us hope at the end of the day with Jesus Christ, his son, when he comes and says, yeah, I'm going to save those who believe in me. And we are going to have a new world. We're going to have a new. So there is like that through line. I understand why it's difficult to end it there because there is no hope. There's no progress. There's no
happily ever after.
Yeah. So Rome is just going to end and everyone's going to die and all that money is just going to go to waste. But yeah, we have a hope in Christ. So another thought that I'd like us to discuss was on the war that is very heavily shown within this movie. So let me lead on with the last thoughts. I want you guys to talk about the leaders of who are portrayed in the movie, and kind of connect them with some of the other kings who we've seen like in the Bible or leaders in the Bible who you would like to just be like, yeah, this one was either like this, or some of the themes that you may have gotten from the movie on leadership as we do our final closing round.
Okay. Maybe for this first one, I wouldn't maybe point it to the Bible, but I really liked, as you've probably figured, Pedro Pascal's character, the General Acacius. I think he was like righteous. A good leader in battle. He wasn't, even at the beginning, I was wondering how comes the ruler is actually going to battle, because he seemed to be someone in high command and he was actually in the battlefield. So I thought that kind of leadership was good. He was there with his men as he fought. He wasn't just somewhere in some place as people fight for him, you know. So I really liked that. And also I liked the fact that he was compassionate. After they conquered this city in Africa and he sees all the weeping and stuff, he's so moved by that. He doesn't want to continue with the war. Even after, I think he speaks about how he doesn't want to see like another generation of young people dying or being lost to the war. So I like that he was compassionate as a leader. He was courageous. So that was a good leader in my books.
You're making me sound like an anarchist, and then you're like a pacifist. Who wants to see chaos?
Yeah, I'm like, totally a pacifist.
We want peace and love and joy to everyone in the world.
Yeah.
And kindness and rainbows.
Yeah.
For everyone, I'm also a pacifist on some days.
Disclaimer.
No, lazima panel when are different characters. Yeah, we have to see different points of view.
Yeah. What did you take from the leadership?
Well, I would say Acacius for sure was one of the Alini captured my heart in a sense in that film.
In all films, Pedro's wonderful.
Absolutely is. But everybody ask that question. You will cut this section. Everybody ask that question.
So what, like, just general takes? It's not really a pointed question, but general takes on leadership that you have gotten from this film, and if there are any correlations you can have with leaders from the Bible. You had spoken about Ecclesiastes when we were beginning, and how the emperor before
Marcus
Aurelius, who was in power, and guys were like, this is perfection, this is the best emperor that we've ever had in Rome. And then just the downfall from there as the leadership changes, and how in Ecclesiastes it's also shown that a leader will rise, people will be joyful that they have risen for a season, and then once a younger one comes and is more vibrant, they're like, that old one sucks now.
That old one sucks. We don't want that one anymore.
So are there other thoughts like those that you may have for leadership, or with parallels with other leaders in the Bible? Like even just to lead on, like the kings in the Old Testament, do they align with the emperors who we saw in the film? Are they as chaotic? But now that one's pointed, that's just a thought. But you can have any,
okay, so I think first of all, leadership is cyclic, as is depicted in that previous thought. Once era hiyo imeisha, ingine itakam. And for sure, we do not know what that era will bring to the people who are subjects to that leadership at that time. And it's interesting. The concept of leadership is we choose our leaders. We know biblically God places leaders in authority. There is an element of both things being
at the
correct.
same time working at the
because you select, and in your depravity make a terrible choice.
Also, God knew.
And also, God knew, and he allowed this person to be in authority for his glory. Not so that this person would be, because every leader is a finite mortal. There's no one who is the perfect representation of the perfect leader. And even in this particular film, okay, think back to how they were thinking of Marcus Aurelius, and, it's supposed to be the representation of everything that Rome should be. Alafu, he passed on, and these twins come on.
And he has slaves.
And he has slaves as well. And all these things. So it's cyclic. It's not season after season, leaders will keep coming. And I think there's an element of, we cannot look to these leaders as beacons of what is to be our hope, for our day. It has to be like deeper than that. It has to be something that's greater, something that's more sustainable. Because if the leaders are cyclic, and God is the one who's in authority ultimately, then I think we know where we should put our trust.
I think that is a good conclusion for us, because even in the Bible we see that cyclical nature with the kings, with the judges. I'd say even like from Genesis, we see them try and get people who they can put their hope in, but it's only once Christ comes where you can actually see that peace happening, even if it doesn't look like peace, because they're still like under the Roman rule. But you can see within people's hearts there's a lot of peace. Okay, so we're going to rank the movie with our own The Faithful Critic scale. So on believability, from scale 1 to 5, where would you put?
Why isn't 0 one of the numbers?
Why isn't 0 one of the numbers?
Okay, I'll give them a 2. I'll be generous. The emperors are not believable. The arena underwater is not believable. What else wasn't believable? Lucia's change of heart was not believable. But I'm giving them a 2 just because some of the fighting scenes I'm thinking may have been Romanish. I have no idea how things used to go. So
solid 1. Can I do 1.5?
No.
Okay, so
why 1?
Well, now because you've asked, as in addition to the reasons that she has stated, I also still have that bias of...
You have watched better movies.
Exactly.
Okay.
But so I'm thinking, even those things that were depicted like, well, in terms of this battle scene, wasn't exciting for me. Or it wasn't believable, rather. That's a different thing.
You didn't feel the deaths?
I didn't feel as though I was drawn into those sets that much.
Okay.
You know? Even the Gladiator arena, I'm just like that thinking. Anyways. Yeah.
Okay. You? Yeah. I'm going to join you guys with the 2.
Okay.
Surprising.
It's the movie is entertaining. So when we get there, I'll give that.
Also, some accents.
Oh yeah, some accents.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I may join you on the 1.
Because it's a lot. Because even the lead, Lucius, does his Irish accent. So once you listen to him, he sounds Irish. Then you listen to Denzel sounds American. Then you listen to someone else, this one sounds Roman. And then you listen to Ravi. So at least Ravi, there's another character called Ravi. At least they give him a backstory where he may be Indian. So he doesn't take you out a lot. But there are a lot of parts
come to think of
in the movie where you are taken out of the movie.
Africa, 1, he should have a bit more of an African accent. And 2, where were all the Africans in Africa?
Believability.
Okay, so 1.
Mmechoma. Hata si mbona kwangu.
Ujamali, first, and then the twin emperors being in authority for that long
does not make any sense.
They had no survival instinct.
None at
whatsoever.
all.
They were kids.
Self-preservation.
How did they get there?
How did
I
they
guess
get
it's
there?
birthright. I actually don't know that part of the story.
Because was it even birthright? Because they weren't related. They should have said
they weren't related.
Somehow.
So I have a suspicion because I remember when the movie starts, there are like several explanation cards. My suspicion is once the emperor, the actual emperor in 1 dies, and even he's called those
Marcus Aurelius, then his son Commodus took over, then he's killed at the end of 1.
Yes. So now once those ones died, I think that vacuum, there are people who fought and got the seats, and then now these are their kids.
Maybe
but they were like, given how young they are in this movie, and the setting is like 16 years after, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay, sawa.
And also, like, if it was going to be like a king who is good in battle, those kids were not good in battle.
Okay,
they didn't seem okay. Like
okay, fine. I'll not join you on the 1, but it's still a 2. But
and then also another thing I've remembered at the end of 1, like it seemed like Lucius and Lucilla were going to be safe now that Commodus, now the guy, the king's son who had taken over by force, like got into power. Like it seemed they were gonna be safe, and then in 2, suddenly he had to be taken away for his safety. 1.
Yes.
1.
Yeah, you see?
Okay. So now on entertainment value, 1 to 5.
Honestly, this
No,
movie...
you know what? You guys are just saying that.
Okay. To be fair, I know I was not the target audience for this movie. So even as I rank, I know I'm very biased. I was not entertained. I'm gonna give it a 1.
You know what? I remember watching someone who was reviewing a scene, just a scene in. Do you remember Troy? The Achilles one, the movie Achilles.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt with another.
I haven't watched it, but
he was reviewing that fight scene between Achilles and this. So I was just like, it just brought that nostalgia back. I was like, that movie was epic. It was so epic. Like, entertainment value in terms of like, this guy was an amazing fighter. Did crazy things and also like just, yeah. Entertainment, I'd give it, okay. I'd give it a 2.
You said?
Still 1.
Oh, 1.
For me, it's a 5.
Yeah, but I'm not the target audience. Okay, I can acknowledge that.
Yeah, when in brutal.
No.
For me, it's a 5. I was entertained. I was thrilled the entire movie. I loved all the set pieces, I loved it. I loved the movie. Maybe a 5 is an exaggeration because I'm overcompensating
for 2 and 1.
I'm pretty sure for like the first half of the movie, you had no idea what was going on and who Lucius was. Even you haven't watched one.
You were just enjoying it.
I was vibing. Like the way Christopher Nolan usually says, sometimes you just have to feel the movie. It doesn't really have to make sense. I was vibing. People were shooting each other. People were like this. There was a lot, and the first half of the movie is really carried with this man wanting revenge on for the wife. Yeah. So even knowing about that backstory doesn't really count for me. I felt like actually that backstory kind of crashed the movie a bit because I think him just being a vessel of violence was more entertaining. But that's,
okay, and more believable because his wife was killed. More believable.
Yeah. So on acting.
So Pedro Pascal,
Lucilla.
Yeah, you guys liked the grounded characters.
Yeah.
Lucius to an extent, but his acting he was quite angry.
Was he?
He kept saying the rage thing, and I'm like,
okay. And then you're looking at him, and he's like,
I didn't see the rage. He was just trying to survive.
I think they did the fighting so well, where you could see that he was fighting with power, but in his scenes he didn't seem angry.
Because he had like very good relations with his fellow gladiators. He made friends.
He didn't seem angry.
He just beefed with someone the instant he got there, like in the first, and then you could see like he needed an outlet. That's why he was so, and again, self-preservation thing. I mean, why else would he have that motivation to be in a gladiator ring and still remain alive if not for the rage of I need to enact my vengeance?
Mm-hmm.
So I still have that. Maybe it's just like something that nimeka kwa akili kama. That's how I imprinted him, and every time I saw him I was like, he's mad.
Okay. So you're giving it?
I'll give it a 2. Well, are we on acting?
Yeah, we're on acting.
Acting will give me a 3.
I wanted to say 3. Okay, yeah, I also agree. A 3.
Yeah, even me, it's a 3. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a 3 for you?
Why a 3 for you?
Okay, so 3 is because of the grounded characters that I really liked. But then also, even the grandiose characters, I feel like you mentioned something that maybe I didn't think about. Because maybe to be a ruler, you had to be that over the top. Maybe you had to be that crazy. So, yeah.
Maybe during that time, I guess.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. For me, I also give it a 3. I didn't believe Lucius was mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I thought they were just putting it on him because because the reason why I didn't buy it is because Denzel kept on saying it. So if an actor keeps on telling the other actor how he's feeling, it's like, okay, then it's not being conveyed well enough for me to understand his rage.
You should show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Show me, don't tell. Okay,
so I think that's the 3 for me. Mostly it was actually on the lead. Yeah, so on creativity. What do you guys think?
Oh man. Did I not like this movie at all? I'd give it a 2. Even a 1 even. Because honestly,
creativity 1, me 1.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened in one. Like basically the same thing. What else? What changed? The plot doesn't move forward. Rome still isn't a republic. The gladiators continued fight. No, 1.
Put simply, it's not your most creative film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait, guys. We haven't like ranked the arena, the shark arena.
It was unbelievability.
So no creativity.
No. We allow you to be creative, but in the bounds of believability.
Okay.
Yes.
By our standards.
You guys are harsh, man.
Quite creative,
0.5.
but quite believable.
For that one.
Standards, by Steve's standards specifically. So on the creative scale.
On the creative, I give it like a 1.
1.5.
Yeah.
0.5 is for the sharks. It was creative.
In believability, my
friend. It was creative though.
Most tuonyeshe vitu haziwezi happen, but okay. Sawa.
For me, creativity, I'd give it 2. Unfortunately, I haven't watched 1 for a frame of reference on how the storyline for 1 is, but I'm giving it a 2 because I personally don't like the plot point where a man's wife or a man's partner is killed as like the plot motivation. Point to motivate. I do not like it. So when
maybe I'm just a hopeless romantic. Now that is the plot. Your creativity nimeka wanja hiyo.
I don't like it. I usually don't like that as a character motivation. I understand. And the reason why I don't like it is because we end up idealizing this lady as the perfect partner and we never really get to know who they are. I know. But yeah. But nimesema 2 ama 3. Nimesema 2.
Yeah.
I think that was that section. I didn't like that section. And I also thought the way those 2 emperors died was dumb. Like,
yeah.
How I understand you guys hate each other, but mwezi danganywa tu one day with your sibling. Especially if you know your rulers. So you know your rulers over like one of the biggest empires of the time. You're ruling with your brother. Someone comes and tells you that your brother did this and you will not check it.
That was I think the believability of how they even got to that position. It's not even how they died.
Lost.
There was no way they could have been in that position.
I did not think. I think they should just have there were no guns in this movie. I don't know. There's another way they could have died, but Denzel being the reason why they died in that specific way, cannot buy it. It was not creative. By my scale, as the most creative person in the universe. Recommendability. Would you recommend this movie to someone to go watch it?
No. No.
I'd
recommend 1.
Go watch 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so go watch 1. It was entertaining. So I think if you want just to... For me, I think it would be 3. So if you like those epic movies... It's 1.
Like it.
You wouldn't like it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Sawa. Go watch 1. We are recommending 1 on a learning scale. So it's learning and then Christian scale. So I think just do both of them.
Okay.
Is there anything you learned from the movie?
Nothing much, to be honest. But on the Christian scale, okay, it's not really Christian, but then there was also a lot of conversations about the afterlife, which that's like one of the things as Christians we need to keep reminding ourselves we're not here forever. We need to be thinking about eternity. So I think I liked the way the afterlife was very close in their minds, but I guess it's because they're going to war, so you have to be thinking about what happens next. But that's maybe a learning point, the thought, maybe.
Learning and Christian.
Oh, well, there's always lessons to learn. And I think that's on that sense, you look for lessons. I mean, we've already had an hour's length discussion kind of on many things that we've kind of unpacked from that movie, on leadership, on war. And some of the parallels that we draw from our understanding of Christianity and even God himself in his character, and does he, what does he think about war when he sees it unfold, even when sometimes he commands it, And so there is a lot to learn in terms of, there's history there. I'd say learning, if it makes you want to research the Roman Empire, then give it a 5. Yes, because the Roman Empire had so much to learn about. So there's that. So you'll get a lot of culture there. And Christian scale, of course, this isn't a Christian film.
Yeah.
But already we've deduced some very fundamental lessons. So I'm not going to put a number on that, but I'd say if you've listened so far up until this point, then you might have a few insights as to what does your Christian mind, does your renewed mind tell you about this film? So
for me, on the learning scale, I think I approach especially epic movies with the intention to understand what happened at that time, even if they're not like historically accurate. Just what caused that time to end so that we can be led into what is existing now. So what are their failures? And in the end, you just learn it's the same human cycle that happens. So I do have a learning scale whenever I approach to watch any epic movies. And even it's the same with Christianity, because the Bible was written more or less during that time with reference points on that type of culture compared to our modernized culture. So I don't approach all of them. They're not Christian movies, but they're like some Christian elements you point hints out. Because even when you're reading the Bible, you imagine it from the epic films that you've watched. Yeah. So I think those two were beneficial. So I think from the table here, I think we have given the movie basically a 2. Ikienda sana 2.5.
No, hata ikienda sana ndio 2.
So that's it for our episode today. Thank you for joining us. If you have any movies that you'd like us to talk about, movies, film, TV, books,
within reason.
Yes, within reason.
Within reason.
It's just,
everything is permissible.
Tell us and we shall talk about it. If you've watched the movie, what are your thoughts on the movie, or what are your thoughts on what we have discussed? You can reach out to us in our social media, I think. Are you guys okay? People DMing you guys on thoughts?
Maybe on the YouTube video. On Instagram.
Sawa. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.
Bye.